feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a...
Some stories don't begin with headlines. They begin with a whisper, carried on the back of a breeze that smells faintly of rain and reverence. And that's how Kim Taehyung re-entered our hearts this week. Not with noise, but with the kind of silence that rearranges your soul. Not a comeback. A soft continuation. There was no teaser. No press release. Just a sudden hush across the fandom, like the air knew something before we did. A florist in Paris shared a photo. A man in a beret facing away, scribbling something into a notebook titled, "Things That Only Silence Told Me." He bought a single stem of lavender and left a Polaroid of a broken violin taped back together. No one tagged him. No one asked for more. Because somehow we already had enough. Jungkook didn't say his name, but he spoke it with music. In his latest Weverse Live, Jungkook played a melody that didn't match any of his songs. It lingered between lullaby and longing, as if someone were composing underwater, in the language of unsaid farewells. He closed his eyes during the bridge, smiled, and whispered, "Some songs don't need words." ARMY knew. Because we've heard that kind of grief before. It doesn't scream. It just stays. The return is not physical. It's spiritual. A child in Kyoto sketched a mural on the back wall of a jazz cafe. A figure standing barefoot on a rooftop, holding a constellation in one hand and a matchstick in the other. She called it, "The Boy Who Lit the Sky But Forgot to Burn." Her mother said she'd never seen that boy in real life. But the night before, she dreamt of someone singing without sound. And woke up crying. He isn't absent. He's just existing in the spaces we forgot to look. A retired stage technician in Busan posted anonymously. He came in during off hours. No entourage. Just asked to sit in the center seat of the empty theater. He watched the red curtain for an hour. Then left behind a note. Sometimes the performance is in the waiting. No one confirmed if it was him. But who else would leave a goodbye where a spotlight once stood? The music industry keeps asking, where is he? The better question is, where isn't he? He's in every lyric Jungkook doesn't explain. In every pause Jimin takes before mentioning the past. In every lavender-scented candle someone lights without knowing why. He's in Oslo, where a street performer played a trumpet solo to no one, except a man in a hoodie who clapped once, then vanished. ARMY isn't waiting. They're witnessing. A barista in Argentina says someone left behind a napkin with a haiku. The wind knew your name. Before the crowd ever did. Come back when you're wind. No one claimed it. But the napkin is now pinned beside the register. The staff plays jazz after 7 p.m. They don't explain why. A voice that refused to be owned. There's a rumor. A project titled Hereath is being curated silently. 11 tracks. No vocals. Just ambient sounds from forests, empty train stations, jazz bars, and laughter under rain. Track 3, The Place I Laughed Without Proof. Track 7, Jungkook's Right Shoulder. Track 11, Exit Without Curtain. It ends not with applause, but with breathing. Jungkook isn't collaborating. He's conversing. In his latest post, Jungkook shared a photo of an empty rooftop bench. No caption. Just a date, June 14, 2019. Fans traced it back to a candid behind-the-scenes moment. When Taehyung leaned back, laughed at the stars and whispered, "Let's make memories no one else will understand." Now Jungkook isn't just remembering. He's preserving. This isn't nostalgia. It's stillness. An unnamed poet in Amsterdam published a zine titled, "He's the Reason I Speak Slower Now." Inside, a series of one-line poems. He never left. He just left space. My silence rhymes with his name. Love is when you don't refresh the feed but you still know he's there. He's rewriting fame as a form of freedom. No brand deals. No scandals. Just sightings of footprints in unexpected places. A temple in Bhutan where a monk swears someone played a single piano note at dawn, then prayed without moving for hours. A bookstore in Lisbon that found a handwritten dedication inside a Rilke book. To the ones who taught me how to be loud by being still. Taehyung didn't disappear. He became atmosphere. You don't see the air, but you feel it shift when he's near. He's not a comeback. He's the reason we stopped needing one. In a world of metrics and schedules, he reminds us of the sacredness of the unscheduled, the holiness of a pause, the courage of not updating, the artistry of absence. The fandom doesn't shout anymore. It whispers. Not because it's tired, but because it understands now. Taehyung was never meant to be chased. He was meant to be felt. Like a sigh. Like a turning page. Like music you don't remember learning but always knew how to sing. This is not a news story. It's a sacred memory. He isn't off the grid. He is the grid now. The invisible thread tying us to meaning when the world forgets how to listen. So the next time it rains without warning, or a song makes you cry for no reason, or you catch your breath at 3 a.m. for something you can't name, maybe it's him, still reminding you, you were always meant to feel, even in silence, especially in silence.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please.
Some artists return through promotions. Others return through chaos. But Kim Taehyung returns the way a forest does after wildfire. Quietly, slowly, and more alive than before. There's no comeback date, because the soul doesn't operate on schedules. At a small vinyl cafe in London, the owner found a cassette on the counter labeled, "For Days That Don't Have Names." He played it once. The room filled with the sound of wind passing through strings. Not quite a guitar. Not quite a cello. But heartbreak shaped into resonance. He didn't know who left it. But he locked the doors and sat in the dark until the last note faded. Then whispered, "Welcome back." Jungkook didn't say anything. And that was the statement. He went live. No lighting. No captions. No promotion. Just him. Staring out a window. A vinyl crackling in the background. One track playing on loop, a Taehyung demo that was never officially released. But always known by those who remember how silence sounds when it misses someone. Jungkook looked into the camera at the end. Said nothing. Touched the side of his neck, where the older tattoo used to sit. And logged off. He's not lost. He's everywhere the world learned not to look. A sculptor in Buenos Aires unveiled a statue of a man holding his own shadow. When asked who it was, she said, "He came to me in a dream and said, 'Carve what I feel like, not what I look like.' So I made him out of time and tenderness." She didn't mention a name. But a fan left a candle with a note that read, "Taehyung always did look like memory." There's a word for the art he's making, unrecorded. In Jeju, a woman claimed to have heard him humming while buying dried lavender. In Prague, someone found a journal page torn and folded beneath a bridge. "I'm not leaving the industry. I'm just building a house in its blind spot." The page was unsigned. But the penmanship trembled with a kind of ache only Taehyung ever managed to make beautiful. Jungkook carries him without asking why. During rehearsals for his solo stage, fans caught a moment. He paused mid-dance, looked stage left and whispered, "Not yet." Later, someone noticed he added a D minor interlude before the chorus. It wasn't in the original track. But it felt like a conversation. ARMY isn't searching anymore. They're remembering gently. A cafe in Seoul has a notebook by the counter where fans write one-line letters. "The sky felt like your voice today. I stopped refreshing Twitter and started refreshing my soul." If you're out there, just blink once with the moon. No one checks for updates. They check for signs. He didn't go quiet. He became a frequency. A sound engineer leaked a waveform that has no voice, just heartbeats, breath, and ocean. Track title, "If Grief Had a Garden." The community instantly knew. Not because they heard him, but because they felt him blooming beneath every silence. He's not building hype. He's building healing. A rumor floats. There's an unreleased short film called "Lavender Doesn't Beg to Bloom." No dialogue. Just a man walking through abandoned stages, writing notes on fogged mirrors, feeding birds with poems. In one frame, he stands beside a child and gives her a pressed violet. No caption. Just her voice narrating. "He told me he used to sing for everyone. Now he sings only for stillness." Jungkook's loyalty isn't loud. It's lit like a candle. He changed his phone lock screen. Fans caught a glimpse. A blurred photo of a hand holding a paintbrush dipped in indigo. Later that night, he tweeted just 3 words. "Some things echo." And nothing else. But the replies didn't ask for clarification. They answered in poetry. Some things don't need to speak to be heard. He's the echo we learn to live inside. The industry still doesn't understand. They're waiting for a rollout, a concept, a teaser, a chart entry. But Taehyung was never made for metrics. He doesn't return like fireworks. He returns like snowfall. Soft, unstoppable, and best witnessed in silence. This isn't a return. It's a reunion with ourselves. In a bookstore in Kyoto, someone found an anonymous handwritten dedication. If you ever forget how to find me, just wait for the kind of quiet that feels like grace. They framed the page. Fans come and leave bookmarks in response. Found you again yesterday between raindrops. You're not gone, you're just hiding in beauty. The fandom has shifted from reaction to reverence. No hashtags. No countdowns. Just rituals. Lavender candles at 6:12 p.m. Unplugging during sunsets. Wearing loose scarves and leaving them on statues. Naming houseplants Tae. Because we no longer wait for updates. We live like he taught us to. Final whisper, you don't need to hear him to be heard by him. He never needed virality. Only vulnerability. Not applause. But alignment. So if tonight feels a little softer, if the moon stays longer on your windowsill, if your breath catches at the sound of your own stillness, know this. He's still here. He's just walking slower. So we remember how to follow. Without rushing. And maybe that's the real return. Not of a person, but of a presence.